Have you ever noticed something and then watched everyone else notice it weeks later? A change in someone, a situation about to shift, a feeling you couldn't explain. At first, you ignore it, then it happens. And suddenly, you're left asking the same question you've probably asked your entire life. How did I know? Most people dismiss moments like this as coincidence. But what if coincidence isn't the real mystery? What if the real mystery is why the same thing keeps happening to the same people? Because there is a pattern behind this. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why some people notice things long before everyone else does, and what that may reveal about the way you've experienced life all along. Think about the people who always seem to sense things early. They're not random. It's not luck. There's a type of person this keeps happening to. And if you've spent your life wondering why you always seem to be a few steps ahead of what everyone else is just starting to see, that question has an answer. Not a spiritual one, not a mystical one, a very specific one. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why this has followed you your entire life and why it was never random. When people hear the phrase chosen ones, they often imagine destiny, power, or spiritual gifts. But what if being chosen has nothing to do with any of those things? What if it simply means perceiving patterns that other people haven't learned to read yet? Think about it. Most people move through life reacting to what is obvious. They wait for proof. They wait for evidence. They wait until everyone else sees it too. But some people notice the pattern before the pattern becomes visible, and that's not coincidence. That's not luck. That's a very specific way of experiencing reality. And it shows up in exactly 3 ways. But this kind of perception doesn't just appear. It isn't something you were simply born with, like a talent you never had to earn. Think about it. The people who notice things early are rarely the ones who had it easy. More often, they're the ones who had to pay attention just to get through. A childhood where you had to read the room before anyone told you what was happening. A relationship where the words said one thing, but something underneath said another. A moment where you trusted the wrong person and never let yourself miss the signs again. You didn't choose to become this aware. Life required it of you. Every time you were misunderstood, you learned to observe more closely. Every time you were disappointed, you learned to notice what came before the disappointment. Every time you felt alone in what you sensed, you learned to trust it anyway, because no one else was going to confirm it for you. This isn't something to grieve. It's not a wound you carry. It's the reason your perception became sharper than most people's ever will. What looks like sensitivity was never weakness. It was awareness built one experience at a time. And once awareness reaches a certain depth, it doesn't turn off. It starts noticing everything. The first thing chosen ones notice is energy shifts in people. Have you ever met someone who seemed completely normal on the surface, yet something felt off? You couldn't explain it. Nothing looked wrong, nothing sounded wrong, but something inside you kept paying attention. Then weeks later, months later, their true intentions revealed themselves. And suddenly, you remembered that first feeling. This happens because perception often registers inconsistency before the conscious mind can articulate it. Your mind listens to words. Your deeper awareness notices whether those words align with everything else. Most people ignore these signals. You've probably noticed them. And that's why people sometimes react strangely around you. Without realizing it, you see pieces of them they haven't fully seen themselves. The second thing chosen ones notice is change before it arrives. Think back to the major turning points in your life. A relationship ending, a move, a new opportunity, a friendship quietly shifting. How often did you feel it coming before it happened? Not because you predicted the future, but because something inside you noticed movement while everyone else was still standing still. Most people experience reality after it changes. Some people experience the shift while it's still forming. That's a very different experience of life, and it can feel isolating. Because when you sense change before it becomes visible, you often have no evidence to support what you feel. Yet later, the pattern reveals itself. And once again, you wonder why you knew. The third thing chosen ones notice is repetition. This may be the most important pattern of all. Life rarely communicates through dramatic events, it communicates through repetition. The same lesson appearing through different people. The same situation returning in different forms. The same feeling arriving just before similar experiences. At first, these repetitions seem random. Then eventually they become impossible to ignore. You begin realizing something most people never stop long enough to see. Life is constantly leaving signals. The question is not whether the signals exist. The question is whether you're fluent in reading them. This is where many people misunderstand themselves. They think they're overthinking. They think they're imagining things. They think they're too sensitive. But what if sensitivity isn't the problem? What if sensitivity is the mechanism? What if the very thing you've spent years questioning is actually the reason you keep noticing what others miss? Because perception doesn't always arrive through logic. Sometimes it arrives through awareness. And awareness sees things logic cannot explain yet. So how do you sharpen this ability? Not by forcing it. Not by trying harder to notice more. But by learning to trust what you already catch before the world confirms it. Here's a specific practice, not a general mindfulness exercise. A protocol for someone who already perceives early and needs to stop second-guessing what they see. Step 1. Keep a signal log for 7 days. Every time you notice something, a feeling about a person, a sense that something is shifting, a pattern repeating, write it down immediately before you rationalize it away. Not what you think it means, just what you noticed and when. Step 2. Retrieve what your mind kept returning to. At the end of each day, spend 5 minutes in complete silence, not to search for answers, but to notice what your mind kept returning to without being asked. Those uninvited thoughts are often the ones that mattered. Step 3. Measure the gap. At the end of 7 days, read the log. Not to judge your accuracy, but to see the gap between when you noticed something and when the world caught up. That gap, between your awareness and everyone else's, is what you've been dismissing your whole life as coincidence. Anxiety, or overthinking, I need it isn't. It's the only data point that matters. The truth is, chosen ones don't necessarily see a different reality. They see the same reality. They simply notice it earlier. And that changes everything. You were never imagining it. You were never noticing too much. You were noticing what others hadn't learned to read yet. The strange feelings, the subtle shifts, the repeating patterns, the things that didn't make sense until later. There was always a reason they kept appearing. Not because you were searching for them, but because part of you was already fluent in a language most people don't even know exists. And maybe that's what this has always been about. Not seeing more, not knowing more, not being different from everyone else, but recognizing what was already there, long before the rest of the world had the patience to look. And once you begin trusting those patterns, you realize something important. The question was never, why do I notice these things? The real question is, why did I spend so long convincing myself not to?